Good evening and welcome to God Led, God Fed with Randy and Keisha. And tonight, for our 5-minute Bible study, we're doing Heroes of Faith and we're speaking on Gideon. So I will be reading from Judges 7:13 through 21, the NIV version. Gideon arrived just as a man was telling a friend his dream. I had a dream, he was saying. A round loaf of barley bread came tumbling into the Midianites' camp. It struck the tent with such force that the tent overturned and collapsed. His friend responded, "This can be nothing other than the sword of Gideon, son of Joash, the Israelite. God has given the Midianites and the whole camp into his hands." When Gideon heard the dream and its interpretation, he bowed down in worship. He returned to the camp of Israel and called out, "Get up! The Lord has given the Midianite camp into your hands." Dividing the 300 men into 3 companies, he placed trumpets and empty jars in the hands of all of them with torches inside. "Watch me," he told them. "Follow my lead. When I get to the edge of the camp, do exactly as I do. When I and all who are with me blow our trumpets, then from all around the camp, blow yours and shout for the Lord and for Gideon." Gideon and the 100 men with him reached the edge of the camp at the beginning of the middle watch. Just after they had changed the guards, they blew the trumpets and broke the jars they were in their hands. The 3 companies blew the trumpets and smashed the jars, grasping the torches in their left hands and holding in their right hand the trumpets they were to blow. They shouted, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon." While each man held his position around the camp, all the Midianites ran crying out as they fled. Amen.
Amen.
So Gideon was faithful to what he heard and he stood on that. It's like he knew he had an assignment to do and he was all for it. That's how I get. That's what I get.
Yes, absolutely. And let's go back to Gideon. He was the least in his father's house. So no matter how people look at you, God can still use. That's the people who God called. He don't call those ones with titles. God called people who have a purpose for everybody. When you think you're the least or you're being treated as the least, that's who God called.
Yeah.
But he was faithful. And remember the story of Gideon, when God had spoke to him in a dream, he was uncertain of it. So he asked God for different signs. If you go read about Gideon, but God gave him signs. He asked God for different signs about a cloak in the dew of the morning. You can read the entire story. For that sign, he wasn't sure if that was God, but God assured him that it was him, telling him that he would deliver the Israelites from the Midianites, correct. Because what happened was with the Israelites, God kept delivering them. They kept going back to their old ways. And so Gideon asked God, they went into a famine and God delivered them over into the Midianites' hands. But God had always chosen Israel. So Gideon and his men actually started off with like 32,000 men. That was all I got from it. It started off with 32,000 men. That was another point. God took it down to 300.
Yes.
He kept reducing it. He took it down to like 22,000 and again till he got down to 300 men. God wanted Gideon to know, why would he do that? Take it down to 300 men to fight hundreds of thousands of men. Exactly. God wanted him and all those men to know that it was God that delivered them out of the hands of the Midianites. Not their own power, not their own strength, but by his spirit, by his power. And that was so profound that God would take the least to accomplish big things, the big things. And that was like, in essence, all of those men had to have faith.
Yeah.
In order to believe Gideon and to believe that he was a man of God and to say, only 300 of us?
Yes.
Now that's, God always take those things that seem foolish to conform to wise. You would take us down to 300 men to fight hundreds of thousands of men. But God had a plan the way and actually another point, my last point, they didn't fight the battle how they thought they would fight. Exactly. Naturally fighting. Exactly. God had a different plan. And he gave them instructions and they followed.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. They didn't even have to physically fight.
Yes.
So that's like God laid it all out. When you think you have to go in here and physically do something,
Exactly.
you listen to his instructions and he handles it all.
Yes.
He does it all. He walks you right through it.
Amen.
Amen. That was a great one. Gideon was a great hero of faith. So we want to thank you for taking the time out to spend with us this 5 minutes just to hear what we were talking about, going over Gideon, a hero of faith. We really enjoyed doing this. And we thank you for watching. May you have a good night and God bless.